What's it like to see people of all different ages and generations that love Genie and you?
It is just wonderful. It makes me feel so good.
It looks like there was a time in your career where you were basically on TV almost every week. People kept hiring you for one show after another, after another, after another.
And for the first 13 episodes, they hid her pregnancy with props and veils.
We had no problem with a woman being portrayed as a slave who lives in a bottle.
It was a half-naked woman who called a guy master, did whatever he wanted, and lived in a bottle when he didn't want her around.
Today, we're shining the spotlight on Barbra Eden, the woman who brought magic into our living rooms as the unforgettable Genie in I Dream of Genie. Barbra's tale isn't just about whimsical wishes and iconic bottle costumes. Oh no, her life is a captivating blend of triumphs, heartaches, and sheer perseverance that stretches far beyond the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. And behind the scenes of her sparkling career, Barbra faced her share of challenges and controversies. Barbra has dabbled in some things society might regard as controversial. Join us as we dive deep into Barbra Eden's incredible journey, from her humble beginnings to her rise as a TV icon and all the magical moments in between. You'll hear about her early life, her unforgettable roles, and the personal battles she faced with unflinching courage. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the enchanting journey of the woman who made us all believe in magic.
The problem for me with Hollywood was that I came down and didn't know anyone. I didn't have any relatives in the business. I had no connections, no friends.
Barbra made her grand entrance into the world on August 23rd, 1931, in sunny Tucson, Arizona. Yep, the 31 part might surprise you because for years, people thought she was born in 1934, the original mystery age celeb move. Her parents were Alice Mary, who went by Franklin, and Hubert Henry Moorhead. Fun fact, she's got some major heritage roots going on as a descendant of none other than Benjamin Franklin himself. Yeah, that Benjamin Franklin. After her folks split, Barbra and her mom packed up and headed to San Francisco. Alice then tied the knot with Harrison Connor Huffman, a telephone lineman, talk about a retro job title, and the family expanded with Barbra getting a half-sister. The squad moved to SF's Parkside Hood, which is where Barbra's roots run deep, like 4 generations deep. She's got tales of her granny rolling into town in a covered wagon and her grandpa arriving on a clipper ship. Total Oregon Trail vibes. The Great Depression hit hard, and the family was definitely feeling the pinch. Fancy stuff was a no-go, so Alice kept spirits high with some good old-fashioned singing. Think of it as the original TikTok sing-along sessions.
I know you say actress first, but you have spent an enormous amount of time on a stage singing.
Swim or fly, only please come back to me.
Little Barbra first hit the stage in the church choir, where she snagged all the solo spots. By her teenage years, she was hustling with local bands, shout out to Howard Fredericks and Freddie Martin, raking in a cool $10 a night performing in nightclubs. Not too shabby for a teen back then. Adjusted for today's moolah, that's like pulling in $157 a gig. At just 16, she joined Actors Equity, and her talent was obvious. She was sharpening her skills with voice lessons at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music and acting at the Elizabeth Holloway School of Theater. Barbra was basically a future star in the making. She rocked her graduation from Abraham Lincoln High School in the spring class of '49, Go Lions, and dipped her toes into theater at City College of San Francisco for a year. Oh, and get this. She also snagged the Miss San Francisco title in 1951, strutting her stuff as Barbara Huffman. She even competed in the Miss California pageant. Queen moves all around.
Oh, let's face it, this here is just a little pagan place and you're all a bunch of Hopper Valley hypocrites.
Way before she started granting wishes, Barbra Eden was lighting up TV screens and stealing the show in Hollywood. Her TV journey kicked off in 1955 as a semi-regular on The Johnny Carson Show. Can you imagine? The iconic Johnny Carson giving our girl Barbra a spotlight. From there, she was all over the place, guest starring in a ton of classic shows. We're talking The West Point Story, Highway Patrol, Private Secretary, I Love Lucy, The Millionaire, Perry Mason, Gunsmoke, The Andy Griffith Show, Father Knows Best, The Virginian, Route 66, and so many more. Basically, if there was a TV show in the 50s and 60s, Barbra probably rocked a guest role in it. She even popped up in 4 different episodes of Burke's Law, playing a different character each time. Talk about versatility. And if you blink, you might miss her in the movie The Tarnished Angels with Rock Hudson. She was an uncredited extra, but hey, we all start somewhere, right? But Barbra wasn't just about TV guest spots. She scored a lead role in the syndicated comedy series How to Marry a Millionaire, based on the 1953 film. This was her first big break where she started catching some serious attention. She had small roles in films like Bailout at 43,000, Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter, and The Wayward Girl, before stepping up as a leading lady in A Private's Affair alongside Gary Crosby, Barry Coe, and Sal Mineo. Her star was definitely on the rise. In 1960, she played opposite Elvis Presley in Flaming Star. Can you imagine sharing the screen with the king himself? The following year, Barbra starred as Lieutenant Kathy Connors in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and got to play in The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm and 5 Weeks in a Balloon. She was also the female lead in the 1962 comedy Swingin' Along, marking the final joint screen appearance of Tommy Noonan and Peter Marshall. Though she tested for the 20th Century Fox movie State Fair with Andy Williams, she didn't get the part. But who cares? She was already on her way to bigger and better things. Her last film with Fox was The Yellow Canary in 1963. After that, Barbra started guest starring on more TV shows and jumping into films for MGM, Universal, and Columbia. Over the next few years, she played standout roles in The Brass Bottle and 7 Faces of Dr. Lau, continuing to shine in every project she touched. I Dream of Genie. It's 1965, and a brand new fantasy sitcom called I Dream of Genie is about to hit the airwaves. Fast forward to now, and Barbra still remembers those days like they were yesterday. At a special screening of Captain Marvel in NYC on March 6th, Barbra chatted with Closer Weekly about her absolute fave memory from the show. Spoiler alert, it's all about the pilot episode. Barbra's top memory? Filming that iconic first scene where Genie's bottle washes up on a deserted island, and she meets the stranded astronaut Tony Nelson, played by Larry Hagman. She laughed about how so cold it was during the shoot. And let's be real, in her skimpy outfit, she probably felt the chill way more than Larry did in his astronaut gear. Despite the chilly moments, Barbra says the chiffon costume she rocked throughout the show was super comfy. It was custom made just for her, so even though it looked breezy, it fit like a dream. Talk about Genie chic.
He will find it much easier to be compatible with nature if I fix the house.
I Dream of Genie wasn't just a hit, it became a TV legend. Running from September 18, 1965 to May 26, 1970, it spanned 139 episodes and kept fans glued to their screens. Even after its original run, the show lived on in reruns, enchanting new generations of viewers. In the show, Barbra played a 2000-year-old genie who falls head over heels for Tony and eventually ties the knot with him. The series was so beloved that it spun off into 2 made-for-TV movies and even an animated series. Though, let's be honest, nothing could top the original magic of I Dream of Genie. Some of those spin-offs include I Dream of Genie, 15 years later, and I Still Dream of Genie. While they didn't quite capture the original show's charm, they still added to the Genie legacy.
Are you glad that NBC shows women's belly buttons now?
She flashes her belly button.
How'd it look?
Our guy didn't get the shot.
Even at 83, she's looking like she's barely aged a day. So what's the secret sauce? Is it just clean living? Or has she had a little help from the plastic surgeon's magic wand? When reporters from all those glam mags cornered her, Barbra didn't shy away. She fessed up to having a few cosmetic tweaks. She also insists that her fab looks aren't just from a surgeon's touch. Barbra swears that her healthy lifestyle is doing some heavy lifting too. However, not everyone's buying it. Some fans are side-eyeing that explanation, thinking it's just a clever way to dodge the full plastic surgery convo. So what's the real deal? Let's break down the possible procedures our ageless queen might have indulged in. First up, let's talk about that nose. Comparing her throwback pics to now, you can't help but notice her nose looks sleeker and more refined. Gone is the slightly bulbous, piggy look she once had. Fans are buzzing with theories that Barbra definitely went under the knife for a little nasal tweak. And honestly, it's looking pretty flawless. Next, her skin game is strong. Like, really strong. Most people her age are rocking those wisdom wrinkles, but Barbra's face is smoother than a TikTok filter. It's got folks thinking she's probably had a facelift. The tight, smooth skin is giving major I've been lifted vibes. It's almost too good to be true. But here we are, staring in awe. And let's not forget the extra glow-up tricks. To keep that fresh and dewy look, it's likely she's mixing her facelift with some Botox and fillers. Word on the street is that she's been topping up those injections regularly, keeping her skin looking fresh, smooth, and way younger than her 83 years. It's like she's got a backstage pass to the fountain of youth. Oh, and have you seen her figure? Even now, her curves are on point. Her perky, toned look has people buzzing about possible breast implants. I mean, gravity has got nothing on Barbra Eden. She's defying it all the way, and honestly, goals. So whether it's a nip here or a tuck there, Barbra Eden is K-ing it with her forever young look. While some say she's obsessed with staying youthful, others are just impressed with how stunning she looks, no matter what. Either way, she's slaying the game and keeping us all guessing.
No problem with a woman being portrayed as a slave who lives in a bottle.
It was a half-naked woman who called the guy master, did whatever he wanted, and lived in a bottle when he didn't want her around.
Barbra's tell-all memoir, Genie Out of the Bottle, hit the shelves on April 5th, 2011. This juicy read hit the shelves with a bang, landing at number 14 on the New York Times bestseller list. Not too shabby for our favorite Genie. In her book, Barbra doesn't hold back. She dives deep into her more than 50-year roller coaster ride through Hollywood. We're talking about all the deets, from her childhood days to her breakout in showbiz during her teens and early 20s. And of course, she dishes on the iconic role that made her a household name, Genie in I Dream of Genie. But it's not just career talk. Barbra gets real about her personal life, too. She opens up about her marriages, first to Michael Ansara, 1958 to 1974, then to Charles Fagert, 1977 to 1982, and now her current hubby, John Eicholtz, who's been by her side since 1991. She also shares the heartbreaking story of her son, Matthew Ansara, and her emotional journey after his tragic death in 2001 from a drug overdose. Fast forward to June 2021, Barbra's still going strong and even has a children's book out called Barbra and the Djinn. And guess what? She and John beat COVID-19. As if that's not inspiring enough, Barbra hit her 92nd birthday in 2023 and spilled some tea on her life now. It's all about the simple joys, hanging out with her family, cozying up at home, loving on her hubby, doting on her dog Bentley, and cherishing her friends.